steps to make the adobo. So basically, first step would be soak 5 dry guajillo Mexican peppers and 3 ancho Mexican peppers into boiling water for 3 minutes. The way you can tell they're ready, you basically touch the peppers, and if they're kind of soft, that's how you can tell they're ready to blend. Next step will be add 3 garlic cloves, 1/4 of an onion. You can either chop it into tiny little squares or just put just 1/4 completely. Add 2 teaspoons of honey into the blender, and this will basically, what it does is just so the whoever doesn't like too spicy, like the spices will blend in so it wouldn't be too spicy. Then mix them with 1/2 cup of vegetable broth. The way you get the vegetable broth, it's basically you get the vegetables, just boil the carrots, squash, celery, and half an onion, corn, and 3 tomatoes together, and that's gonna make you get the broth. And last but not least, blend everything good, and you should have like a chunky texture. So first step, wash the raw chicken really good to get rid of all the bacteria that it has. Make sure that you wash it with cold water. Second, you have to dry the chicken with a clean towel or a paper cloth. Put the dried chicken into a metal bowl, or it can be any kind of bowl, doesn't matter. In this case, I use a metal bowl. Chop all the fresh herbs into small pieces. What I use, basically, I put thyme, sage, basil, and you can also add dry herbs if you can't find any fresh herbs, but it just depends on you. I feel like adding the fresh herbs will be better. Next, after you've added all the herbs into the bowl, add olive oil all around the bowl. You can add as much as you would like. I decided to add, if you think about it, that's like about 3 to 4 teaspoons. Next, add a couple of granules of sea salt all over the chicken. Create a mix of spices. I created this mix of spices. I added a bit of salt, pepper, dry cilantro, anise, cloves, and I mixed them all together, and I created this mix of spices. It's really good. And I added it into the bowl. Next, but not least, I added 4 garlic confit into the bowl and mixed them real good. And I waited about 5 minutes for the chicken to get marinated. After the oil has been heating, then you could add your marinated chicken and saute it for 5 to 6 minutes. Next, while you're doing this, just make sure that the temperature is lower, you start lower because you don't want the chicken to actually burn, and then it's gonna taste like burn. So you want to avoid that. You should be cooking it in a medium temperature, or if you're scared to actually burn it, you can start doing it by lower temperature. Then flip the chicken to cook both sides evenly. While you're doing that, don't forget to add 5 teaspoons of cooking white wine, and let it cook by itself for about 5 more minutes. While your chicken is cooking, make sure you're preheating the oven. You should set it up for 350 degrees. After your chicken has been sauteed for 5 minutes, grab a metal tray and put it there to be able to bake it. After that, make sure you bake the chicken for 10 minutes. Also, make sure the chicken temperature is about 165 degrees before you take it out. That's the correct amount of temperature that you should know that your chicken is completely cooked, because you don't want to be eating a raw chicken. And last but not least, after your chicken has been completed and baked and everything looks pretty good, make sure you squeeze a lemon to each chicken thigh. It's just to add a little citrus flavor. So steps to saute the vegetables. So use the vegetables you use to obtain the vegetable broth. Chop them all into small pieces. Grab a pack of mushrooms and cut them in half. Make sure you cook them for maybe 5 to 7 minutes until you can tell they're kind of soft. Next, Before your vegetables are ready, add 2 teaspoons of adobo sauce. So like the adobo, the same sauce we made like in the beginning. Mix it with the vegetables. And this is basically just to give the vegetables a tasty flavor. There's no need to add more salt because the adobo, it's already kind of salty. And I try not to put any like too much salt, just because that's how I cook. And next, after your vegetables are done, use another skillet and put 1 spoon of adobo again and the rest of the vegetable broth and mix it together. Begin to stir it and make sure that everything gets dissolved and let it boil for about 2 to 5 minutes. Just make sure it doesn't burn because it's not going to be good and it's not going to work correctly. Once it has been boiled, take your corn tortillas and put them inside the adobo and begin to cover them with it. Just continue doing this until you finish the adobo, just to give the tortilla color and just a little bit of more flavor. It's not mandatory to do it, but if you don't want to do it, you can just just make sure you warm the tortillas and they become a little bit soft so you're able to roll them. But if that's an option for you, if you don't want to put the adobo again, if it's too much for you, then you can skip that step. And like I said, just heat the tortillas and that should be it. After that, you should fill the tortillas with vegetable and tightly roll them up. Once you have done that, add 3 tortillas in the plate and add chicken on the side and put sour cream on top of the enchiladas and add cheese as much as you want to. If you want to add more adobo into your chicken, you can do that. You're more than welcome to do that, but if you think it's too much adobo, then you can just skip that step. And there you have it, the final result, the chicken Colorado. It's not only does it look good, but it also tastes real good.